Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of All Consuming Podcast. Today, we have a special guest, Matt from Remedial. Yeah. Welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me.
So I've but you joined our Discord server, I don't know, a year ago.
Right? Yeah. It was actually, I think it is coming up on one year.
Yeah. So, and we've been hanging out and chatting, and he's been sharing his faith and his music tips and tricks and vocal tips and tricks with some of the guys and gals on our server. And so finally we're like, hey, we should interview this guy.
Yeah.
So here we are. So first of all, what's your band?
Yeah. So my band is called Remedial. Right now it's just me and a buddy of mine who I had met years ago. His name's Phil. He's an awesome guy. Met him when we both lived up in Massachusetts. I introduced him to his wife and just really enjoyed playing music with him. Way back in the day, I remembered how good of a drummer he was, and so when I realized I was going to be writing an EP and coming out with some individual stuff, I was like, I got to get an actual drummer who knows what he's doing to put some drums down for me, or else it's not going to sound realistic.
Mm-hmm. So you used to be in another band years ago.
Yep.
You want to tell our listeners and probably Tyler what band it was?
Yeah. So I was the vocalist for Exiting the Fall. We dismantled about 11 years ago when I moved down to Florida. So band was active from 2009 to 2014-15, depending on when you consider our breakup to really have happened. So we did that for a long time. Christian metalcore. We toured. We released 3 EPs with the lineup that we ended up finishing with. So it was a great run. Really enjoyed playing with those guys. And Kevin went on to form Valley Heart, who is signed to Tooth and Nail currently. I might as well just get into it, right? If you guys don't mind, I can tell you what ended up happening and why we dismantled.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I'd like to get a background of who you are, your experience,
and
to what you're doing now. And what I was leading to is your drummer friend. Is he from your band?
No, Phil was not in my band, but he was in my best friend's band. He was in a band called Remain in Me, which is based off of John 15, I think. John chapter 15. And they came out with an EP. They were based in Florida as well. That's how I met him and got to know his capabilities. The drummer for Exit in the Fall, I don't know how much music he's doing these days, but he's a phenomenal drummer. I would have loved to have had him on a track here or there, but I haven't really talked to him too much about music since the band split, so I wasn't sure if he was still doing that kind of stuff. I knew that Phil was, so I figured I'd ask him.
So, tell us more about your band, Exiting the Fall.
Yeah.
You guys toured a bunch. Did you love it? Good memories, bad memories? You do it again if given the same chance?
I think like everyone, we would do it again, but I would probably do things a little differently. I loved my time in the band. It was an interesting season in life. It's kind of hard to describe what the band became, but what it was when we first started off. We had started off as an idea to be like what Christian metalcore bands were doing at the time, to be a light in the scene, to really go above and beyond and show the love of Christ, really witness to people. And this is when we first started. My best friend was actually the vocalist in the band. His name is John. And he really encouraged me to be bold with my faith and to really get on to this aspect of sharing it in a public place. And so we were really writing music from that place of, this is a ministry. We really want to impact hearts and souls for the gospel. As time went on and we wrote more music, we started to think about, and as lineups changed and we solidified who our core 5 were, we were really trying to think about what were the bands that really made the biggest impact on us. And so I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but listening to bands like As Cities Burn, Son, I Loved You at Your Darkest, just this gut-wrenching pouring out of your soul, being just super brutally honest. We just felt like that was something that was very impactful for us as Christians. And just feeling the rawness of someone else explaining the things that they were struggling with, that they were trying to wrestle with in their own hearts. That's what we really wanted to portray as a band, was this idea that we're not perfect beings, but we have been made perfect through Jesus Christ.
That's cool.
So that was kind of our goal, is let's be more real and raw than other bands might be willing to be.
That's
so
cool.
You're doing preaching from the pulpit?
We did for a while, and like I said, where we started off to where we ended up is very different. We were preaching from the pulpit a lot. We were trying to, I'm no Maddie Montgomery, but I tried my hardest to, to preach the gospel where I could, and I knew that a lot of what was really important to me in my time with the band was relationships and the people that we had met. I didn't really care so much about saying so much that was going to sway someone from the stage, but I wanted to show people the love of Christ when we talked to them and when we were interacting with them. Just listening to people's stories and loving on them. That's where I think we eventually ended up on feeling like this is where we could really make an impact is let's show people how much Jesus loves them. And let's talk to them off stage. Let's go out to eat with them. Let's go to Steak and Shake at 3 a.m. after a show. Let's buy someone a meal. Let's, listen to someone's story. Let's go crash on their couch and go out to get breakfast with them in the morning. That was our whole goal, was building relationships and trying to make impact that way.
Yep. I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of talked about it more and more recently that I think people want to relate to bands and people more than they want to be preached at. And when they come talk to you and they're like, why are you guys so different? So let's move a little further back in history.
Let's go.
So what was your gateway band? What made you, go from listening to, I don't know what your childhood music was.
Well, they already said As Cities Burn was a big influence. So
yeah, but what was the gateway band that's whoa, heavy music?
Yeah. Okay, so in middle school, my sister started getting into emo screamo, like every older sister or brother did back in the 2000s,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So through the walls in our rooms, I would hear Taking Back Sunday, Senses Fail. I would hear all the classic, emo bands, The Academy Is. And so I went into high school as an emo kid, right? So my best friend, who I met as a freshman in high school, he was like, here, there's an emo kid coming to school. And so he and I hit it off right away. And he's like, dude, have you ever heard of Under Oath? And I was like, no, I don't really like screaming. At the time, I hated screaming. It's actually kind of ironic where I ended up, but he showed me, it was 2006, and he showed me Define the Great Line, and it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because Spencer, and at the time, his vocal performance on that album is probably different from anything I've ever heard in a metal vocalist to this day. I mean, the full raspiness with also the tonality and the ability to portray such emotion. Yeah, it was just something I couldn't ignore. And so that really, that album, that and They're Only Chasing Safety, because I went back and listened to that after the fact, and those two albums really brought me into the thick of it. But MySpace was huge there. So that, you find one of these bands and you pop over to one of their top 8 at the time, and you're like, oh man, who's this guy? And so not a lot of Christian bands at that time, but the two that really came up in mind, they sent me a message on MySpace. It was August Burns Red and The Devil Wears Prada. Those two bands, they sent me a message, and they were like, you should check us out. And I was like, The Devil Wears Prada, this is a stupid name. And I ended up listening to Hey John, What's Your Name Again? And I was like, wow, those clean vocals when they come in with all that reverb, I was like, oh my goodness. And then Mike with the highs, I was like, at the time, highs were really, really big, and he was just, screeching. I was like, holy smokes, this guy's insane. So
yeah,
those bands really did a number on me. And so obviously you start to imitate that.
Right. So before you were an emo kid, you're an emo kid coming into high school.
We're going to ask the same question, Tyler.
Yeah. So what were those emo bands that you were listening to prior to the screamo stuff?
So there was the Juliana Theory. That was a big one.
Cool.
Loved the Juliana Theory. Senses Fail. Their Let It Unfold You album was huge in my house. I think my sister played that 3 times a day. The Academy Is. She liked the band that didn't end up really getting that big, that I still listen to this day. Very nostalgic. Time Spent Driving. Not many people know that band, but they're really good. They're one of their albums, I forget what it's called, but yeah, every one of those songs has an impact on me. So The Academy was another one my sister liked. And then obviously big at that time were bands like Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, just all the big hitters. Valencia was someone that I really ended up liking a lot. I could go on.
Dress the part?
Oh yeah. I had hair.
Had the straightened bangs, black hair, white belt. Skinny
jeans. I still wear skinny jeans. My wife's trying to get me to go baggier.
That's awesome. I too listened to like the mainstream emo growing up, and it still like has kind of had an impact on me. My wife and I, every summer we go to like a new baseball stadium, different city, and so we were in Chicago a few years ago, and it was at night, and we walked by this bar, and it said emo night, and we're like, shoot, dude, like let's go, and so we went in. And it's a piano, and like they're taking requests. So we went up there, and I was like, "All right." So we request like 2 songs, and one song was "Ohio's for Lovers," Hawthorne Heights, and the other one was "What's the Taking Back Sunday," Cut from the Team. That one,
Cut from the Team, yeah.
And so we put those in, and she sees them, and she's like, "I don't know these songs," and she came to us and like talked to us, and we like, what? It's emo night. Those are like the 2 like biggest emo bands, like Taking Back Sunday and Hawthorne Heights. She's like, no, an emo night's next Saturday. It's just like regular pop night. She's like, I don't know any of these songs, and it was like the most embarrassing.
You didn't
thing
notice like the first while you walked in there, she was playing like Taylor Swift or something.
I don't know what I was noticing, but my wife was joking around like, tonight will be the night, we're just like messing around. This is going to be so awesome, dude. And it was really embarrassing.
Did you just sing Secondhand Serenade?
That
was another one too. Tonight will be
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, that was pretty embarrassing, but my emo, love still is there. I still listen to all those even today. Sometimes I'll have an emo playlist going, for sure.
Oh yeah. I'll hop back into it every once in a while, and I'll try to remember the ones that I had as my MySpace profile song. The one that you could choose.
Dude, MySpace was so great for music, though.
Man, I changed my profile song like every day.
It was so good. I discovered so many bands that way, and it just, I don't know, it was cool. Kids will never know.
No, I mean, they discover music on TikTok now, right?
They do. If you
get some influencers to say this band, this band.
Well, even if you just use a song for something that goes viral, then that song takes off.
Have you ever gone and actually listened to like a full version of these TikTok songs?
Yes.
Some of them are okay, but most of them are not.
Tyler showed me one, and I'm like, dude, I don't know this song. I don't
Which
know.
one?
And he's like, just wait.
Oh yeah, Dexter and the Moon Rocks.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know this. And then the chorus started, and I was like, oh yeah, I know this song.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But only that 30-second clip. Like that's
I went to a couple days ago. I went to a Hillary Duff concert, which I went with my wife, but ended up really enjoying the show.
Really, but it was your idea, right?
But the band that opened up for her, they had a song that got famous.
The band that opened Duff for her
opened up for her.
Hillary.
They had a song that had 250 million plays on Spotify from being a viral TikTok song. And now they're opening up for Hillary Duff. So, I mean, it worked for them.
What was the demographics for that concert?
Let me just say, the boys' bathroom was deserted, so it was awesome. Whenever I needed to use the restroom,
using like 4 urinals at once.
Yeah. And then also, it was cool, though. There's a lot of people dressed up in precarious outfits, but like Duff Man was there, which is really a good like connector from Simpsons to Hillary Duff. I thought that was cool. A lot of Lizzie McGuire people dressed up, even some dudes dressed up as Lizzie McGuire, which I think might put him on a list, but whatever.
Was Gordo there?
No, I was asking for Gordo. No Gordo, no Miranda.
That's the only one I remember, Gordo. Oh yeah, Miranda, that was right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, so TikTok bands, they can make some money off TikTok now, but it wasn't like MySpace was way different.
Yeah, MySpace, I mean, like A Day to Remember would not be who they are who are not for MySpace.
Absolutely.
So many bands. I mean, the Devil Wears Prada and August Burns Red too. Well, they're from my state where I live now, yes. Yeah. Ocala. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's bring this back. So you're in a band. You have a musical background? Like, did you just decide one day I'm going to learn to do vocals? You grew up in a musical home?
So I grew up in a very sports-focused home. I played ice hockey from pretty much like 4 or 5 years old until about 14. My dad is a really good blues guitarist. He really was impacted by people like Stevie Ray Vaughan and who's the other guy? Oh man, he's gonna kill me.
If your dad watches this, he's gonna be
sorry,
so
Dad.
Embarrassed.
I'm being a bad son. It's also 11:30, so give me some slack. But yeah, he was he always had guitars laying around. My sister took piano, but I just never really thought about it because I was playing sports most of my life. But when I went to high school, or when I was in middle school rather, I started picking up the guitar and just playing around and messing around with it myself. And I played drums for a little bit for the worship team at my middle school, so that was fun. And it was until high school that I really started getting serious. But what really made me realize how bad of a guitarist I was I was actually the guitarist originally for Exit in the Fall. And when Kevin joined our band, he was like 13. I mean, he was about 2.5, 3 years younger than us. We were 16, 17. He was 13. And the kid was playing As I Lay Dying songs like it was nothing, like it was just, he was shredding. He was like, can you do this? And he's like rolling up and down the neck. He's like tapping. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Like, I can play a G chord and maybe if so I came a long
distortion.
Way. Yeah. I got 3 distortion pedals that I can turn on at the same time. But
that's cool. I find it interesting. Yeah, I find it interesting when people are in bands, how many actually had parents who did music too. And like, I felt like, I don't know, there was at least a level of encouragement. It wasn't like you're trailblazing, doing something new for your family. So you had some idea and experience and exposure to that.
Yeah, I mean, ironically, my great-grandfather on my father's side, he was a pianist for the circus. So I do have it in my bloodline. But yeah, my dad was in music until about 6th grade when he started to jam with some guys and they're like, hey, do you want to do weed? And he was like, nah. And then that's when he stopped playing music.
Yeah, I'm out.
He said people just wanted to get high and play music and he couldn't find anyone who didn't want to do that. So he just stopped.
So now you're in a band, a new one.
That's right. A new one.
What made you want to do this again? Round 2, what made you pick the band name, the Remedial?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it was about 10 years since I released any music with a band. We released Bloodlines with Exit in the Fall in April 2015. And when the band broke up, it wasn't like it was a messy departure. It was kind of like, it was like a fire going out, I think is a good way to describe it. And DJ ended up marrying our drummer's little sister, Angie. Angie was a top 3 contestant on American Idol. And so she was, she's phenomenal. She's a phenomenal vocalist.
Why wasn't she on any of your songs?
She was on.
Well, there you go.
She sang group vocals for the end of, oh man, I'm going to forget the name of the song.
Was it on your last album?
No, it was on Parables. It was the last song on Parables. Man, I'm a bad.
Hey, this is a decade ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago, dude.
I don't even know the last time I listened to it.
The Eye of the Needle?
Yes. She sang at the very end of that. Yeah, no, she's a great vocalist. She goes releases music under a name Zealand, like New Zealand, but without the new. It's interesting stuff. But he moved out to California to be with her. And so that was kind of the first domino falling when he decided he was going to leave the band. We really were kind of running out of steam. We had been talking to a label at the time, a pretty prominent one, and they were wanting to see how our album Wind Chaser did when it came to the release. And we put pretty much our whole heart and soul into that album and promoting it, touring, really just trying to make it do well. And they kind of just ghosted us a little bit. They said, okay, April this year we'll reach out to you guys again. We'll see where we're at. And they just never picked it up. They seemed pumped and then they weren't. And we needed something. If we were going to get to this next level, we weren't going to just be a band that grinded constantly. We needed constant momentum to get us to that next level, and we just didn't have it. And so we just fizzled out after DJ left, and we couldn't find another bassist who shared our faith that we were able to even play the bass parts. I mean, DJ was a phenomenal guitarist and bassist, so it was a big shoe to fill. Mm. So yeah, it was just a natural progression towards fizzling out. So when it came to Remedial, like I wrote The Christian almost 9 years ago, pretty much soon after I moved to Lakeland, but I just never released it. I always had this idea that I wanted to write an EP from a philosophical perspective. Are you guys into philosophy at all?
Yeah.
You guys, yeah?
I took it in college because I had
Hey,
to.
there you go. That piqued my interest. Yeah, when I took it in college, that's when I really started thinking about these things. Having gone to mostly Christian schools my whole life, I rarely ever got to hear the other perspective of things until I got to college. And so I just thought that philosophy was such a fascinating thing because it's the study of thought. And so I've always had this idea. I want to write a metal EP about the trolley problem because it's a phenomenal philosophical, moral, ethical dilemma where you have this decision. If for people that don't know what the trolley problem is, you're in control of a trolley. You're heading down a track, and if you continue on that track, you will five people will die. You can pull a lever that's in front of you to switch tracks and choose to murder one person instead. And this was created to demonstrate the differences between the consequentialist approach to moral ethics and the deontological side of things, where what is your duty to do as a human being? So a duty-bound person would say, it's never my job to murder someone. No matter what the consequences are, my duty as a person is to honor that person and to never murder someone. So the act of pulling the lever is murder. But the consequentialist would say, well, more people will die. More people will die if you don't. So we need to pull that lever to save the 5 people. The consequences of your action weigh more than what your duty is. And so I just think that it's a fascinating thing to put someone in a situation in which they have a lose-lose opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. No matter what you do, you're losing. And I thought, wow, what a prominent way to show the gospel, right? So a little spoiler, I already released a Christian, so we know what the Christian says, but the whole premise of the EP is to build up to this idea that what do you do with the guilt? What do you do with the guilt of situations in which you can't control? And I think that the trolley problem, when you look at it from the perspective of how other people look at it, particularly an atheist, right? So an atheist would say, there's nothing but me. I'm in control of the destiny. I have to eat those consequences. And to bear that weight is an incredible moral responsibility. And so, yeah, I wanted to do something a little bit more philosophical. I've never done that. It encouraged me to look into different avenues and beliefs that I might not necessarily have thought of before. But it was in an aspect to try to understand where people are coming from. And I think the best way to really convince someone who is not on your side is to show them that, first off, you understand the strengths of their arguments. You can steelman their arguments. You can understand where they're coming from. So when I got this fire to create this EP, that's when I was like, I got to make a band. I got to get someone in this boat with me. I got to start writing this music. I got to start fleshing it out, and the fire started hitting again, which it hadn't really happened for about a decade, really. So that's long. I mean, it's a short story long. So,
how many songs are you cooking for this EP? So you've got 3 out. We have the Atheist, the Christian, and the Darwinist.
That's right. So there's going to be 2 more released, the Consequentialist and the Deontologist. And I wanted to release these 2 last because they are the ones that are primarily arguing in this dilemma, and they relate the most. They touch bases on probably the most religions and philosophies, right? I think most Christians are both consequentialists and deontologists, right? Like we have this duty that we must follow Christ, right? It is our duty. But there's also this aspect of, well, we don't want to do things because those consequences, are devastating, or they will lead to this or lead to that. And most people look at the world through the lenses of where their honor is or what the consequence of something is. So I wanted to release those last just because, they're going to be the ones battling each other the hardest, I think. And the themes in these songs, musically, rhythms, patterns, I tried to make things similar between songs. So like there's certain rhythms that might repeat, but with slight variances so that, you could see, this might mimic what an atheist believes. I don't know. I try to do something a little bit deeper than just writing a song from a perspective. I tried to make these things kind of noticeable throughout other songs,
Not just like a lyrical concept album, but also a musical concept.
Yeah, exactly.
A theme. Yeah, so of the 3 songs you released, because I don't want to ask you with the other 2 unreleased, which one's your favorite? You got one that you think you shine the brightest on? I have a favorite. My favorite's the Christian.
Same.
Yeah.
I like the guitar work, and your wife singing on it is like
Yeah.
It adds another level of dynamic to it. That is your wife, right? I'm totally remembering correctly. Good.
Yeah, no, you're 100% spot on. She killed it. And the funny thing is, she doesn't even like metal. She hates metal. Actually, I can't. It stresses her out. I can't even get her into like a gateway band. It's too much.
What does she listen to?
She's really big into the boom slap clap bands. Like
Benson Boone.
No, like the Oh Hellos and boom slap clap. Isn't that like the 2010s, the big mustache.
Oh,
so we're talking like
Lumineers.
Mumford and Sons and stuff.
Mumford and Sons, Lumineers. Yeah, the thing is, she doesn't listen to Mumford and Sons, so I can't say she likes Mumford and Sons.
Okay.
But Mumford and Sons,
Need to Breathe and folky.
Man, she doesn't even listen to them.
Good.
Lord Huron is another one she listens to a lot.
Much more indie.
Yeah.
Cool.
She's a phenomenal vocalist, and I couldn't hit the notes anymore, so I was like, you got to do it, babe. You got to hit these for me.
And she did great.
She did amazing. Yeah. I think I like each song differently. My favorite song hasn't been released yet.
That's why I didn't ask you. I didn't want you to be like...
I know. And
the other two aren't nearly as good as what I already did.
The Christian's probably the best. In my opinion, I think the Christian's the best song. I think it flows the best. It's got the most energy to it. I love the resolution. I think the message is... I don't want to say God wrote the ending of it, but I feel like when I was writing the ending of it, I had a vision come to me where it was like, this is what it's going to sound like. And I was like, all right, I'll try my best. Like, that's pretty epic. And yeah, it came out better than I expected it would. But The Atheist I like because it's different from anything I've ever written. And it's also like, I like it for the thought experiment behind it. I'm not an atheist in any way, shape, or form, and to have to say some of the things I did in it was like, I need to go wash my mouth out now and drink some holy water.
That's a really good exercise, though. I mean, I agree with you. Looking back, like what you're saying about how you go to college, you get exposed to some of these ideas that you've never really been exposed to. There is something to that for being a Christian and understanding also where other people are coming from, to strengthen not only your argument as a Christian trying to spread the gospel, but just empathetic views of who humans are, right?
Yeah.
And if everyone's made in the image of God and that's what we believe when we look, it's really important to have those types of views and not just be stuck, here's where my lens is. So I think it's awesome to be able to write a song in the perspective of something you are not, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the whole
100%.
message is then going to, obviously, it sounds like, point to God, right? The one that can bear our guilt and that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Really cool. Yeah, it's an awesome concept. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, but I think even Christians should do this experiment with other Christians. I think I was talking with my wife the other day, and I was just like, man, you know what I'm most looking forward to about heaven? It's that we're gonna get to heaven, and all these petty little arguments we have about different things that we believe are just gonna absolve, and we can just worship Jesus directly at the tree of life, drinking from the water of life, and just be able to fellowship with each other without having to worry about any mysteries anymore. And I think as Christians, if we take the time to truly understand what the other person is saying and to be able to, like I said, steel man their argument, be able to say like, okay, I understand what you're saying because this is what you believe and this is how you believe it. It's much more loving than trying to convince them that they're wrong. I mean, I feel like I spend so much of my time trying to avoid convincing people that they're wrong because at the end of the day, like, it's not going to really matter what they believe on a lot of these things. But it is a good experiment to do with all peoples. I remember reading Ender's Game. I don't know if you guys ever read that book, but it was so thought-provoking when
I saw the movie.
Okay. There's a quote in it. I don't know if they say it in the movie, but I'll try to remember the quote as best I can, but it's something along the lines of like, when I see my enemy, I love them, and it's that I love them that I know them. And I was so thought-provoking to me because it's like, wow, do I really love my enemy? Do I really want to understand them and know them? And yeah, I think I've talked to atheists before, and they're people just like me, and they hurt in their own ways. And I think I've never convinced an atheist to be a Christian personally, but I've definitely had conversations with them about God, and I've hoped that I've planted seeds in their heart. And I think if you start talking to an atheist and you start talking to them as a Christian might and trying to combat them, they just think, oh, this is just another person that doesn't understand me. And I think a lot of times people like Rosaria Butterfield, she was an atheist and she came to know Christ because she saw the love of those who were in the church that came alongside her, invited them into her house or into their house. And, so it's just so impactful to understand people and to understand where they're coming from. And so that's why I wanted to do this thought experiment and write this EP.
Yeah, I think that's cool because I think it's very easy to prove people, to fight people, to say, especially keyboard warriors. Mm-hmm. But really, we're called to just have our testimonies ready and to share our faith, not tell them why their belief system is wrong. Because it's like a door-to-door salesman. As soon as you walk up to my door and I know you're selling something,
for sure,
I'm not paying. Like, I don't want it. Mormons come to my door and they're prepared, right? They have they know what I'm going to say when they ask me, they're Christian, what I believe, and I say these things, and immediately they're like, well, actually, did you know? And I'm like, stop. Like, there is a prophet alive today, just like Jesus. Like, how come I haven't heard about him? And they're like, that's why we're here. And I'm like, dang it, they got me. But see, I'm never going to go like, you know what? Those Mormons were right. Wow. My mind has changed.
I will say that, I have nothing against people who street preach or preach from a stage. If that's what God has led them and they feel called to do that, then we don't know. I don't know the seeds that have been planted through that, and I'm not going to get in the way. But
yeah, and it's not our job to convert people. That's up to God and them. But I mean, who knows? Maybe it does work. Maybe someone out there, I've not met anyone who's like, dude, I heard this street preacher say I was a sinner and I'm going to hell. And I was so angry. So I looked up what he said and I was like, you know what? He was right. Maybe. And maybe there is some guilt in there too, where someone grew up in a Christian home and they're straying and they hear this guy saying this stuff on the street and they're like, remember when I believed stuff? Like, what did I believe? And, it sparks something. Like, I don't know how God works.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing, but
it's a mystery where what is done. But from my experience, I'm right there with you. It's always been, whenever I hear people's testimony, it's always been, I had a friend or I had a figure who came in my life and loved me and showed me kindness or listened to me and helped me and maybe understand the gospel. And it's never been, I was walking on the street and someone handed me a tract and I realized that I was on this side and God was on this side and I needed the cross. I've never had anyone, quote a tract to me. It's like, I don't want to say that they're useless. I just haven't experienced that personally. So I've just found that people care about being loved and they can tell when that love isn't genuine. And if you truly want to love people like Jesus loved them, you have to look at them, you have to stand beside them and understand them. I mean, when you read the Bible and you see, Jesus looked and he saw, and then he healed, or he said, go and do these things. It's always Jesus looked. And it's like, how often are we actually looking and not just barking, and that's where I think it really, really matters to listen to people and their stories and to love them for where they're at and to look at them, come alongside them.
It's interesting. I say so our preaching pastor, one of our elders at our church, he's a pickleball instructor. And every week at our church, there's someone new. And I'm like, oh, shoot, someone new's here. And it always happens to be, it's because he invited him from a pickleball lesson. You know what I mean?
And
it's like,
I love that.
Oh my gosh, this is literally the perfect missional field. And then, there's a little bit of dang man, I coach football. I could be inviting my coach. I could be inviting people from work, all those type of things. And just realizing that whatever your passions, your music, Matthew, right? Our podcast, other things like that, our passions are also our avenues for mission. Right. Yeah. And so it's pretty cool. And it's the way that we can interact with others. I do have a lot of friends that are non-Christian, in my circles because of what I do. And so I know that that's kind of my mission, or whatever it is, but whatever our interests are, whatever we continue to do, that's what Jesus has put us forth to do. And it's really cool to hear your concept for your album and obviously what you're doing. And That's our whole goal for this podcast too, is to just like talk about music, and we meet people and build relationships, and hopefully we can, talk about Jesus and talk about music, man.
Yeah. Well, I got to give a shout out to Poga Rocks. The reason why I found you guys is because I was looking for Exiting the Fall in podcasts, and you guys reviewed one of our songs like years ago, and I was like, oh, they have a Discord? Cool. I was starting to get back into Christian metal, and I was like, I'm so out of the loop. I need to get involved with a group of guys who love the Lord and also listen to the style of music I listen to. And as you guys experience, and I listened to your Sleeping Giant podcast, there are few and far between of us. You might get that one guy that listens to AC/DC. I know that struggle. There's this young kid at church, and he's starting to get into guitar, and I'm like, so what are you listening to? Like, what bands? And I'm hoping he says something like, I don't know, anything that's like maybe new metal. I don't know. I'm hoping, but he's like, I'm listening to all like classic rock and like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. I'm like, it's good, but it's like, how do I relate to that?
Yeah. And sometimes that's like the start of, that's the gateway. Other times people just are Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Metallica fans for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And there's
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, all you got to do is be like, oh, you like Ozzy? Well, Crazy Train, the first bit? What if I told you there were bands that only did
That's
that
all they did
the whole time? And
they chugged on the top string. Yeah, no, it's been fun being a part of this community, and I'm very grateful to have stumbled upon it. It's brought me a lot of joy, and it's brought me a lot of how do I describe it? It's like I don't know. When you make something so much a part of your life for so many years, and you go so hard in it, and then you pull yourself out, it's like getting out of a swimming pool in the cold. It's like you're just shivering there, and it kind of feels like I'm easing my way back into where I was.
You made
before.
your way back to the hot tub.
I made my way to the hot tub. That's right. This is the promise. So if you guys aren't a part of the Discord server, here's your plug.
It is cool, and it's something that I think that is sort of like unique, is having this community of people that do listen to the same things and have the commonality of Jesus. And so it is awesome to we say this every time, I feel like, it's just meeting all these new people from all over the country, or all over, different countries even, that listen to the same music and that believe Jesus is their savior. And it's like, man, this is pretty sick.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. The Poga Rocks. I remember it was like an encore song.
Yep.
Back when we had our Patreon. Surprise, we don't have a Patreon. We did this thing where like once a month or something, we posted something and we'd say, pick a song for us to listen to
and review.
I remember he picked one, and I was like, dude, I haven't listened to Exiting the Fall in forever. And I just remembered like that. Yeah, I remembered like the album art and stuff. I was like, I remember this. It's like the time when I walked away from Christian music or just metalcore, and I kind of moved to like dubstep and different stuff. Just because I think the Christian scene was really struggling around that time.
Yeah,
I mean, music in general bands were struggling at that time, so it became a lot of like everyone was just releasing singles and they're doing solo stuff. Anyway, so it was good to come back to that and remember that time.
And it was
like
awesome.
What, 2020?
What?
Around then? When that stuff started, when Christian bands started to
come back.
I think that's been more recently, like 2021, 22, right? I think COVID did.
I think during COVID, a lot of people were like, dude, I'm stuck in my house. I miss touring. We can never go to live shows again. And all these bands are doing these like live stream live shows in a warehouse that's empty. I remember watching like, Tyler, we watched August Burns Red, Fit for a King. They did their whole like the Path playthrough.
That was kind of our thing. We'd get together and watch a live stream.
Like, and Demon Hunter did their one in like that house. It was like all acoustic and stuff. And they like made this big fancy, live stream event. And we're like, man, is this what music is now? Like, we can't go in public anymore because we have to remain 6 feet away. And I think a lot of people were just like, I'm going to meet up with my buddies and play music anyway. Can't do anything else. And I think it just like sparked a lot. And not only that, a lot of the DIY I think really took off because of COVID. COVID really shook our world up.
It really did.
But
I don't know about you, but I got work from home almost permanently. So,
dude, me too. I was in office every day. I would work from home like when I had a doctor's appointment.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to, something like that. And now it's like, You're lucky if I'm in the office.
Yeah. No, same boat for me. Like it was like my department was just like, we might start doing like one Friday a month where you could work from home. And I was like, why? And then COVID hit and it's like, oh, you're just there permanently now. I was like, so we could do this all along. We just didn't want to. So I hated that.
That has been really cool.
Yeah.
But the problem is now there's a lot of empty office buildings that they're trying to figure out what to do with. But hey, they can figure out something. This is how it should be, right?
What they need to do is get Skillet in there and do
Skillet?
I don't know.
Hey, Skillet is coming to our county fair, dude. The
Are they
Benton
really?
County Fair. Southeast Washington
Nice.
Skillet, dude. I might have to go.
And you're going to scream, man.
I haven't seen Skillet in about 20 years.
Scream and shout, whatever his new song is.
Yeah.
We used to play this festival up in New England called Soul Fest. And I feel like Skillet played almost every year. And I never went to see them once. I'm so sorry for those who like a Skillet.
Is that a brag?
I think he's trying to brag right now.
No,
I dodged a bullet.
It's okay.
for
I
years.
feel the exact same way.
I don't know. Okay, so I've been trying to overcome my pettiness when it comes to the music that I like and enjoy. I still really struggle with bands where they have like the husband-wife duo. As I don't know, it's just for some reason it doesn't click with me. It's weird. I can't describe it.
How do you feel about pastors being married?
I mean, like bands, not not like pastors. No,
I'm not saying that I feel that way about pastors.
To
either.
be fair,
Check.
his wife doesn't sing anymore for a long
She
time.
doesn't.
I thought she
No,
does.
not till before Comatose.
Oh, they got that drummer, huh?
Yeah, what's her name?
I don't
Aaron
know.
Gillespie.
I can't believe I forgot. Their singer is a drummer girl, and she is not married to anyone in the band.
No, it's just I don't know. It's just it was a big thing in like the 2000s, and I feel like it just kind of I don't know. I don't know. I just never liked it. I was always like, this is a little weird. So I don't know. I never got into Skillet. There's nothing wrong with them. I just never.
It's okay.
listened to
Hey, we diss on Skillet all the time too. John's not listening to this.
All right.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
no worries.
funny.
No worries.
Our poor
But you
listeners
guys-
who do love Skillet, and you
Yeah,
guys
that's true.
are making them.
I never said that they're good or bad. I just said I don't listen to them. But they make fun of me for liking Sleep Token, so I guess it's even. Whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
back to your music a little bit. The Darwinist and the Atheist.
Mhm.
What would be what's your difference? Obviously, Darwin is
Yeah.
probably more like science evolution, like focus, right? Is that still
We're all
the message of the atheist?
So I think that there's a slight difference between
Yeah.
the two. So with Darwinism, I don't think that people realize just how many things that they might believe are actually Darwinistic. And I'm talking about the world in general. So there is some pretty heinous stuff that some countries do with things like organ harvesting. And, like we've seen countries enslave people in just recent times. And so it's like there are things that we do as people. I mean, even abortion, selective euthanasia and those sorts of things. These are choices that we make because we have deemed that we are the more powerful of the species in order to progress ourselves towards a better future, right? Like, and we as Christians, we really abhor those things. We really hate those things. I think most people don't understand that Darwinism is very much alive and well. And it's this idea of like, I get to choose who my children are. I get to choose, who lives or who dies. And really it's in the power of the rich and the wealthy that do a lot of this deciding. I mean, who was that Rothschild that had like 9 heart surgeries?
Yeah.
The
Rothschilds goes, but there's a lot of, banks and all this about them, their wealth and stuff. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not here to get into conspiracy theories
Sure.
of where those things are, but the guy did have 4 heart transplants.
Yeah.
He was a multi-billionaire. There comes a point in which other people's lives are less valuable than your own. And
Right.
when you are a Darwinist, you don't care about the lives. They're going to die. I'm going to use them for my advantage. I think atheists don't pertain to that. I think, when you look at the writings of Friedrich Nietzsche, he still believed that man could overcome, that man was meant to be more than what they were. He gets a bad rep because of how people have misinterpreted the Übermensch, the Superman, but But ultimately, it was this idea that man should be in a state of constant overcoming. Where atheism gets a little dicey, though, is what's the moral ground in which you are determining where your ethics belongs? Mm-hmm. What's the foundation? Because without God, then it's moral relativity. And when you have moral relativity, how do you determine objectively whose relativity? Yeah. So that's where things get a little bit different. I think most atheists would believe that life is precious. It's the only thing we have, right? Yeah. We die and there's nothing. And before we live, there's nothing. So wouldn't we want other people to be able to experience that? And now some atheists might be Darwinists, but I think the most amount of atheists that I've met are more humanist than anything. And they really want people to be better people. They just don't know how that really works.
So the Darwinism is focused more on like social Darwinism, like.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I didn't want it to be called the social Darwinist.
Sure. That's a really, I like that. Good concept. And definitely, I think you're right. I think there is a lot of differences there for sure. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could probably write another EP with different philosophies and religions, and I might, there's no limit to what I could do with this, but I chose the things that I've come in contact with myself personally. It doesn't mean that it can't go that way in the future. So,
I mean, The Devil Wears Prada did a zombie EP too, so you could do a Trolley Problem Part 2.
I could, yeah. Or I could just make it into an LP,
Yep. Controversial question. Maybe not controversial. Personal question. Social media.
Yeah.
So, like, if I tell people, hey, we're talking to Remedial, we're listening to their songs, and everyone's going to be like, what's their Instagram handle? What's their... Yeah. So how come you chose not to do that kind of thing? I mean, isn't it pretty hard to promote and try to get your name out there without, like, an online presence?
Yeah.
Not to belittle or, judge you. I'm just wanting
No, you're 100% right. I have purposefully handicapped myself in this by not having an Instagram. And it really just comes down to the fact that my walk with Christ and my relationship with my wife are way more important than any musical endeavor. And I don't condone a lot of the stuff that I see on Instagram. And I don't trust myself on a platform like Instagram. So I have made the decision through gritted teeth and kicking and screaming to not do it, because I used to have an Instagram way back in the day, and I decided to delete it because I realized when I wasn't on it, I was so much better off than when I was on it. Social media as a whole is a vice for musicians and artists and entrepreneurs, anyone really that wants to do anything that involves self-promotion, because it's the greatest marketing tool to ever exist, and also the biggest time and life suck that you could possibly introduce to your daily schedule. So if people want to listen to my music, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube Music, it's on all the major streaming platforms. I think the only one I don't have it on is Bandcamp, because they don't do that through a lot of distribution channels. So I have to go do that still. But yeah, I really don't have anything against people that use Instagram, but me personally in my own walk, just if I ever get it, it's going to be my wife has a password and she tells me when I can go on it. It's and that's not really good for promotion, because you got to be on there constantly.
Yeah.
So it's just
that's hard. And kudos to you for doing that, because
great for you.
Like, even with our podcast, like, we found that we would get on and we compare ourselves to other podcasts, and then we'd be like, dude, why don't we need to make content like this? We need to do that. And then people like share their end of the year numbers, and it's like, how are they that big? How is this? And it just becomes like this competitive thing, and then you're mad and trying to edit the podcast and like, this is serious. It's like, no, let's go back to just having fun.
Yeah.
And now I feel bad. I get on like, I don't know, once every 2 weeks, and there's people who messaged us about the Sleeping Giant episode we dropped like a couple weeks ago, and they're like, here's my videos, here's my story, and like people just chatting with us, and it's like, hey, 8 days later, thanks for sharing your story, thanks for chatting.
We took it serious. We took Instagram pretty serious for a while and made videos and funny memes and stuff and tried to grow it. And we grew it to like 15,000 followers, which is great. But another correlation we realized is just because somebody follows your Instagram doesn't mean they listen to your stuff. Doesn't mean they support you.
Yeah.
And so if all you're after is for numbers, there's a lot of pride that's rearing its ugly head, and I think you said it best, man. Social media is a time suck. I will find myself scrolling reels and I could be playing with my kids.
Yeah.
You know what
How
I mean?
about when you're doing it when you're with your kids,
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst.
And so there's so much truth for that. And like, that's the biggest thing as a parent too. Like, we all know, like now the studies have shown, like the longer you can wait to give your kids any of those social media, phones, stuff like that, the better they are mentally and all that stuff. So it's the same. It's just we're adults, but we still get drawn into that all the time. And that's what it's created for. It's created to make us stay on.
It's a
doing a good job
machine. Yeah. It's especially with like the short clips and funny stuff, and then it takes you to stuff that's really similar. And it's
and then
crazy.
It's when you let your guard down that it shows you something that you're not ready for. You know,
sure.
And it's like so it's you're allowing something else to decide first off how you spend your time and what it thinks you need to see next. And I don't know. I know that these companies they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're keeping your attention so that they can sell more advertising.
And let's go back to the social Darwinism. The people that own these companies, dude, some of them are like terrible people, and it's just like the bleak dystopian world of what they're moving towards is scary. So kudos to you. I think it's a great decision to make, even if it does handicap you, like you're saying. That's just what it is.
Listen, I'm a dad of 3. I work a full-time job. I'm not going on tour. I got nothing to prove. I'm writing and releasing music that I love and enjoy, that I think is pretty unique compared to what the industry sounds like. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to go out and listen to animals and what noises they make so I can have 30 seconds of deep breathing and pig squeals. I'm trying to
develop new flick tunnel screams.
Yeah, no, none of that stuff. No flick tunnels for me. Fill you in on that later, Tyler. But ultimately, I don't know if you guys are like this at all, but this podcast is probably very similar to you. You're talking about something and you're doing something, you're creating something that you are passionate about, and that for me gives me so much more utility and joy than anything, pretty much anything else that I do. Maybe hockey is a close second, but it's just the ability to create is enough for me. And if there are people that come along and listen to my music, then honestly, like that makes it all the better because we can enjoy it together. But I'm not here to prove anything. And whatever Remedial is it's what its name is. It's healing. I'm essentially healing myself from what I was doing before and allowing myself to fall in love with music again.
Awesome.
That's cool.
I love that.
So what's next? You got 2 new songs coming. You plan on doing any videos? You plan on doing collaborations?
Listen, my best friend is doing vocals.
Back together.
My best friend's doing vocals on the next song that we're releasing. He's a phenomenal vocalist, and honestly, like I don't like my singing voice that much, but he's so good. And so I was going to try to have Kevin get on a song, but he was just too busy. He went back to school and he just couldn't find the time to do it when I needed it done. So maybe on the next EP. But I think I've always really liked other genres as well. Like I said, I grew up emo, so I have an idea to kind of come out with an emo EP with another drummer friend of mine.
Cool.
He's not a Christian. The EP would be more along the lines of personal songs. We've already written about 3 songs for that. But yeah, just some things. I think this would be a lot more along the lines of like appreciating my life and then understanding the season that I'm in, and maybe trying to express sin in a way that is, more from my own understanding of how it behaves, So when you guys had kids, did you realize how short of a temper you had, or was it just me?
Bro, I still catch myself.
Right.
All the time.
So yeah, I mean, that's a song that I've been writing is about, what it feels like to start getting angry. And it's like what it really does to your brain. And so, yeah, I want to write different music in different genres. It might be under a different name, but yeah, I mean, music is something I just want to do. I'm a huge fan of Copeland. I don't know if you guys ever listened to Copeland, but I love super chill music. And so part of me wants to record an acoustic EP with my wife, maybe some sort of like Civil Wars type thing. I don't know. I'm not that great of a vocalist or songwriter. I don't want to sell it, as being Civil Wars quality.
Wait. You're gonna have a band where the people are married in it?
I'm just pretty
joking.
cringe, man. It's pretty cringe.
I'm joking.
You're right to call me out on it. I should. You know what? You're right. I should do what the Civil Wars did and find someone else who's not my wife, and she's also married, and then we do music together because that's what they did.
That's funny. No, I'm just kidding. I think it'd be awesome. I would totally listen to that for sure.
Yeah.
You make you and your wife's band her gateway band.
Ooh.
So you record the way she thinks, and then when she's not around, you add double bass pedals, drop D guitar.
I'll have Nick Nocturnal make it into a metal song. How about that?
Okay. No, I love that. I think that's so cool to be able to experiment and do different types of genres, and we're definitely going to listen to whatever you do for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's so funny because like I feel like bands, they do this, they'll go like to two radical extremes. Like you'll have someone like Anthony Green, who was, I think is it Anthony Green? No, Dallas Green? City and Color.
Not sure.
Like he was in Alexis on Fire, and then he created City and Color. So Alexis on Fire is like a screamo metal band.
I remember that.
City and Color is like just super chill acoustic. So they go to like the radical of extremes. They're either one or the other. But I feel like a lot of times I have so much more fun in between. I'd love to write something like Under Oath, or The Story So Far, like that kind of stuff. Like it's just it'd be a fun genre hop.
Yeah. Well, I think that's basically a wrap. Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, I think that was awesome.
So thanks for joining us again. Like super grateful that you're part of our community, and I'm glad you were able to find us. I love seeing you helping people out when they have questions about faith, when they have questions about vocal tips, or even like some guys, trying to do production kind of stuff, like what's the best way to record. And it's cool to see you and some of the other musicians in our server like step in and keep the conversation flowing. So
absolutely,
it's super cool.
It's been a pleasure being here, and I've needed something like this for a long time. So I'm happy to have a place where I can be utilized.
Yeah, a Christian echo chamber. Join our Discord.
Let's go. let's keep echoing the praises of the Lord till eternity.
Absolutely.
Love it. Well, thank you guys.
All right, thanks for coming
on. It's been a pleasure.